Hello everyone, this is Varsha and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. Once again, we are here with you all to discuss the success story of one more achiever of our, and this time we have with us Mr. Ankoor Dasgupta, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Shisham Digital. A storyteller at heart, trained from Dale Carnegie in mentoring, Ankur is a marketing practitioner, a knowledge manager, a thought leader, and avid writer with more than 50 published articles and has multiple guest columns. Ankur is an established speaker and jury member for multiple esteemed forums, including reputed business schools of India. Ankur has also been invited on the advisory board marketing department at ISBR Business Schools, Bangalore in 2023. Some of the companies Ankur has worked till now are GE, Times of India, India Today, Shiros, Compex Potium India, DDB Mudra. An advocate of social impact driven by Kaizen, Ankur is a process expert and believes in the power of energy and energize while bringing to the table a pedigree of 23 plus years with a rare combination experience across the spectrum of media, print, digital, mobile, event production, and successful pilot projects. He has worked across functions like ad operations, business operations and strategy, content, brand strategy, sales, events, media planning, and buying and spread heading P&L. Ankur has been part of Six Sigma Green Belt projects and worked in cross function roles with MNCs, media conglomerates, and startups. Ankur has been part of the core pilot team of launching and scaling international IPs such as AdTech, iMedia Summits, Modern Marketing Summits, and TechCrunch events in India. Ankur has directed and enabled the winning of multiple award winning case studies for brand advertising campaigns. Ankur is an active speaker, jury member with multiple reputed forums nationally and internationally, along with writing extensively for HOS columns in reputed publications. Ankur has most recently been recognized with the awards like Man of Excellence Award 2024 by Indian Achievers Forum, Collector's Edition Award Circle of Excellence 2024 by Passion Vista, Brilliant Mind Top 5 Influential Personalities to Watch 2024 by CIO Today, Leaders 2.0 Awards by AdGully, and Scholars of Advertising and Media by Digital Kaizen Leader DigiAdCon 2024. But before we actually get to know more about the awardee, please have a look at a very small video telling you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows, and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Right, sir. And before we actually start the conversation, can you please share with us your backstory about what brought you to your specific career path?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me in this interview. Grateful to you, the management, and all the listeners who are taking time out to tune in. So, it has been a 24-year career journey, challenging, interesting, exciting, and full of surprises. I will try to be as crisp as possible because by nature I'm a storyteller. I tend to speak a little bit more, but I will try to be crisp in the interest of time. I was an average student from the beginning, and from my high school days, I was aware that some of my strengths were there, and I was aware of them, but not all. So one of my strengths was also, I'm not talking about the attributes, I'm talking about the strengths that I had in terms of some of the skill sets that I was aware of. So I was good with writing, be it writing proses, be it writing poetry, be it writing long form content, short form. So I had a natural flair for it. And I really believe in the magic of the universe that if we really want something from the heart and mind in focus, it will happen. And I'm a firm believer of concentration. So, I mean, that's the word I'm going to, probably talk about a little bit in between. That's one of my favorite words. So, hence. So, I knew that I wanted to be working with the media world and I wanted to study it as well. So, after my, specialization diploma in advertising and marketing, the first 3 years of my career was with GE. That time, GE was known as GE Capital International Services. So I'm thankful that I got my first, actual corporate break with GE because organizations like these actually um, polish you to a great extent. Because the number of trainings that we used to have, the number of on-the-job trainings, we were sent out of country as well for stint assignments for a long-term basis, like 5 months, 6 months. So it is not only about trainings, but it's also to collaborate and co-live with other people. So it taught me a lot of things. I mean, who I am today is also my pedigree. I'm thankful to all these experiences, right? All the challenges of a new country, a new, living environment, a new, completely different job that I was not aware about. I had to learn everything from the scratch. Then I got through after that a leading media conglomerate, Bennett Coleman, which publishes Times of India, the leading newspaper daily. So post that thing started rolling. I mean, moving with newspaper print per se. Moving on to India Today, which was into magazines. I was handling like ad operations for some leading magazines like Golf Digest India, Time in Asia version, and then Men's Health India version, apart from Business Today. So I was with the Business Today division of India Today. And then I later quite realized in my career that what drives me is the curiosity and the hunger to learn and work with different teams and cultures. So when I got an opportunity to work with Yahoo, I jumped in, and from there, I believe more magic started happening. Of course, I had my share of challenges because moving from print to digital itself is a big challenge. I mean, I'm glad I moved at that point of time, and there were days when I still remember that I felt like just giving up, but I just carried on and went with the flow. So as I was saying, I mean, moving from an industry driven by fax machines at that point of time, I'm talking about like way back. I mean, we used to be so happy when somebody used to scream, say, "RO has come in, the release order has come in via fax." I mean, fax was a big thing then. Moving on from completely an an environment filled with papers all around because of print, obviously, um, and moving on to an environment which was paperless, completely software enabled. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised, and it was both difficult and exciting to work. But I learned a lot. So then also I transformed. One of the other things that happened was I transformed myself from being a stage and a crowd shy person to someone who loves stage and camera. So because I understood that gradually when we move on to leadership positions, one of the aspects that becomes important is the ability to interact with various environments, various people, various cultures. So, with that, practicing that is very essential. So, the blessings and good wishes of many people, I would say, led me to a lot of speaking engagements, being a part of multiple reputed, prestigious advisory boards and jury member in multiple forums. Today, I have close to 100 published works. Remember, I spoke about writing as my passion. So I wanted to be writing consistently. This is what drives me. At a point of time, I was not doing equal or at least sufficient amount of reading as I would have, the kind of writing that I used to do. So one of my mentors told me that, Ankur, you should try and read as much and different genres. So when I started reading, I mean, today I'm a voracious reader as well. I have my own mini library. I keep on adding books to that. I keep on reading. Have, I read at least, my habit is at least three books at one particular point of time. I don't give myself the pressure of completing one book and moving on to other. I mean, that works for me. I pick up chapters that drive me. So and doing a lot of guest lectures and sessions with business schools as well. So I believe, in a nutshell, a combination of um, factors such as being having grit, having determination, which are very easy words to say, state. However, when I during my career journey, when I started feeling it gradually, probably I was not self-aware as to, okay, this is determination. But I would say at that point of time, I was aware that, all right, this is called going with the flow. I'm just going with the flow, and if there is an opportunity, I used to kind of identify it and not fear not taking it. So I used to always say, all right, if nobody else is doing it, I'll go ahead and do it. I mean, at the max, what will happen? I'll not be, I'll not get an appreciation, or uh, the management will not like what I did. But people will say that, okay, somebody took the step ahead. So I feel that those are things. I mean, I call it raising my hand where nobody else does. So it's like a classroom, right? When the teacher asks us questions, there are folks who know the answer, but they will still not raise the hand. I mean, everybody's aware of this. It's the ability to raise your hand, even if you know that you may be attempting to, answer. You may not have the appropriate or absolutely correct answer. Having that, uh, edge, I feel that that has always helped me to take a step. So that's my, backstory in a nutshell. And I really thank my family, who has been extreme support, my wife and my daughter, who has been extremely supportive at all given points of time, without whom I would not, be able to work to my full potential as I am. So that's about it.
Right, sis. So now, according to you, what are the myths that you would like to dispel about being a C-suite executive?
Well, that's a great question. C-suite executives, all right. There are a lot of myths, and these are my observations basis talking to a lot of people in the industry. One myth is C-suite executives have it all easy. No. People don't idly usually have an idea about the backstory, or what is the amount of weight they may be taking at any given point of time, but it'll still not reflect on their face. Most of them, most of the C-suite leaders. So the reality is the belief that top executives have easy job. C-suite roles often come with you know high pressure situations demanding work hours. That's the reality. Uh, and it takes a lot to call the shots, make a decision. I mean, decision making is one of the most key aspects of how things progress in the life of a C-suite leader. So the complexity of the role requires constant, I would say, strategic thinking, while also giving rest to your brain, understanding when to give rest to your brain and when not to. Obviously, um, by this time, a leader has to, practice being an effective decision maker, and knowing that it is difficult and entails risks to, take certain decisions. And the navigation through challenges happens at a different, I would say, level at a C-suite leadership. So this is number one with that myth that C-suite executives have it all, kind of easy. Then the other myth, which is very interesting, which I've heard from a lot of people, is C-suite executives only make decisions. They sit and they make decisions. They do nothing else. So the reality is, while decision making is crucial aspect of not only C-suite, but one or two levels or three levels down below as well, the key decisions. I mean, C-suite executives also deeply are involved in various operational aspects of business. They're involved in a lot of stakeholder. um they're involved in the board. They work closely with their teams to implement strategies, oversee and anticipate possible chances of failures. Because from the point that a leader is sitting, they're at the best position of knowing the unknown. So that's how I say what a leader is. I mean, obviously, it's a mindset as well, and it evolves. But a leader he's sitting on the top of a tree. So imagine if you're sitting at the top of a tree, you have the best view. So, and you have the best view, you will have the practice or the ability to also say that, all right, I see this coming. So here is how we are going to do this differently. So that comes with a lot of uh, ability to tackle challenges and be tactful in how we deal in our day-to-day conduct of ourselves, how we communicate with people, how we understand research as well in that totality, what research is being done, how the research is being done, a lot of aspects, I mean, in business. So the role requires a combination of leadership, communication, and almost a lot of hands-on management skills. So this is one more myth: is like C-suite executives only make decisions. Then there are other myths which are, I found it funny when a couple of people told me that C-suite executives have unlimited power, which is not true. I mean, the power that they wield is constrained also by the needs of the consensus and ethical considerations and the alignment of, I would say, the company's long-term goals, the short-term goals, collaboration, a lot of things. So it's easier said than done. So I wouldn't say C-suite executives have unlimited power. And some people, I feel that I read it somewhere actually that C-suite executives have, they usually reach the top very quickly. This is the funniest because it is dependent on a lot of parameters. It is dependent on um, your education, maybe your the kind of opportunities you have had. It is not only about one thing. I mean, it is about also the kind of opportunities you've had, the kind of opportunities you have seized in terms of, when I said that raise your hand where nobody else does, where you have identified and taken that opportunity onto you. It is a combination of how fast you learn things, how fast you have a, you develop yourself holistically. um, so there are many aspects, and there are various kinds of leaders as well. And maybe nothing is good or bad about it. It's just that the way I look at it is that if you are a leader, there has to be a reason for people to follow you, right? And the job of a leader is to create more leaders, not to create more followers. That's where the thin line, um I feel needs to be distinguished. So yeah, so to summarize, C-suite executives have it easy is the first myth. C-suite executives only make decisions is the second myth. C-suite executives have unlimited power is the third myth, and C-suite executives reach the top quickly is probably the fourth myth.
Right, sir. So now talking about your successful journey, according to you, which three character traits of you do you think are the most instrumental to your success?
A lot. I have a lot of character traits, I would say, and I feel it works for me. But I feel also that I talk a lot about my grandfather because he's been a big inspiration in my life and imbibing the core values in me, starting from like how to respect people um, from the heart, right? How to contribute to people's lives if somebody needs help, be genuinely helpful, how to have compassion for people, how to be a good listener. I still remember that uh, when people used to come to our home and talk, he listened so well that he exactly knew what to and how to have a reflective conversation rather than just talk. Or in our daily lives when we talk to speak. Okay, you finish up, then I'll speak. So that's the fundamental of conversations these days, that general observation. However, this is one thing I'm a keen observer of human nature. I've been that. I think that's one of the most important things that I've had since childhood. I was not aware of that, but now I realize that from the childhood itself, I used to observe everything very carefully. Some things used to retain, something used to go out of my mind, but few things have, thankfully, I've been able to retain few practices. So, coming back to the three things, traits or attributes, as we may call it. One is my intrinsic ability to be in the moment. The simple, as I was saying, the simple art of listening well, being in the moment with the person you're talking to, be it a team member, be it your boss, be it your clients, be it for networking at an event. Even if you have 1 minute to say hello to somebody, I will say it meaningfully, right? I mean, by looking in the eye and using that moment effectively. The least anybody would want is somebody forgets their name or somebody forgets them, right? Um, so that's one of the things that I feel has been there with me, and I've improved on that, being in the moment, because at times we digress, but I consciously practice being in the moment with somebody I am. So this is one of the things. The second thing, which the people that who know me very closely, uh, they know I identify with these two words a lot. One is discipline. Uh, I've told a few people that probably in my next birth I'll be with the armed forces, because I have extreme discipline within myself. Not from now, from many years, and that is one thing. It has been there with me again. So my grandfather did have a big hand in imbibing this discipline, but he never actually pushed me to have discipline. Uh, I'll give you an example. He used to wake up early in the morning, and I've shared this example with few people. This instance, he used to wake up at maybe a little bit earlier than 4, maybe 3:45 in the morning to get milk. Right, I'm talking about way back, and I still remember that I used to be asleep, but I knew that he was going out. Then one day, after a few days, I asked him, "Radu, where do you go?" And he said, "I go to milk, get milk, and those days there used to be bottles of milk, and used to there was a milk depot close by. I used to take a walk, then go to the temple and collect the milk back, and then come back." So one fine day, I told him, "Tomorrow I'm going to come with you." He said, "You're not going to, I have no problem, but if you're going to wake up at, you told me some time, I think by 4, I'm going to leave. So if you are able to leave by 4, it's okay. So because I'm not going to wait for you, that's my schedule." So it started, I believe it started from there. So I woke up and that was one of the best mornings. And after that, we kept doing that, taking walks with my grandfathers in the morning, going to the temple, going and interacting with people. I was surprised to see that like 4:30 a.m. in the morning, there were people all around in the milk depot and in the temple as well. That's just one aspect of my discipline. I mean, the regime that I have, the schedule that I follow is I hardly negotiate with it. So that is number two, and number three is being organized. That may be branching out from the word discipline. Um, oh yeah, I'll mention two words. One is discipline, and one is concentration, that I spoke in the beginning as well of this conversation. Uh, I'm a firm believer that if you want to succeed, if anybody wants to succeed in life, um, concentrating on that one particular thing is very important to accomplish it. And it is difficult. I've realized it is difficult. I acknowledge that, I recognize that. However, with conscious practice, daily practice, it is possible to get to a certain zone where you can concentrate and not deviate, right? Uh, I mean, if I know that I'm just giving an example because many people, when they ask me about OTT, did you watch this new show on Netflix? When I tell them that, look, there is this one thing that I don't do. I don't have an idea about what goes on in OTT platforms. I don't watch Amazon Prime. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch any of these. I have very particular shows that I watch, and that also I watch on a specific time, specific date. When I know that this is the thing that I really want to be watching, because those don't add any value to my life. Right? And that doesn't mean I take life very seriously. Let me be very clear. I have my share of entertainment and fun. I go out. I have different ways of enjoying. I do picnics with my family. Stuff. I listen to music. I listen to podcasts. That gives me. I mean, whatever works for somebody. So if I know that this is something which is not going to add value to my life, I just don't do it. So uh, being organized and being concentrating, because that's deviating from my concentration. So just to explain that what I meant by these words, that discipline, then my intrinsic ability to be in the moment, concentration, and uh, being organized. As I was saying, that being organized is like waking up, making myself a cup of tea, reflecting on the previous day, making a to-do list, bifurcating the priority one, priority two, reading a few chapters from my mini library about from three different books. I was saying, um, and I start with an inside-out approach. I feel that is very important. Reflecting from inside out to start your day, and that sets the tone for me for the day. So I'm prepared. I don't remember the last time I had Monday blues, because I love Mondays. I'm always geared up to go on Mondays, actually every day of the week. I mean, I've never felt, oh, there's a Monday coming or something like that, because that's how I invest time. I keep my day prepared. I prepare for uh, the next. So I feel that works for me, and that's one of the things that has contributed. um, that's all.
Right, sir, and that clearly shows that you love your job for sure. If you're saying that Mondays are something that you look forward to, so now talking about your career path or the journey till now, nothing comes that easy to us, and I'm pretty sure that you have had your own set of challenges. So if you can please talk about those challenges and also the overcomings for the same.
Yeah, there's lots to talk, but this one I'll keep it short. One of the challenges I already spoke about was moving from print to digital, moving from a fax industry to a paperless environment. That was the first challenge. It was difficult. I recognize that till now. Um, how did I overcome that? I'll talk about it in probably after I mention my challenges, top challenges. Then moving from hardcore advertising operations in print and in digital, which is entirely back end, to client servicing, which is entirely front end. And this happened within a span of, say, maybe 48 hours. So I won't share the story because it's a long one, but it's an interesting one. When I moved from advertising operations to back end to front end, let me put it that way, I was not aware that it is going to shape up in this way. So Um, I feel that this is one of the challenges that that came up in my life, and then decision making, which evolved from time to time. A leader is, as I said, someone who knows the unknown better than anyone else. So, uh, higher we go, the more we evolve, the better the view. It's a panoramic view, but the kind of it gets lonelier that way. So. I feel during crisis times, it's important to breathe, and it's easier said than done, but it's important to breathe, take a moment. Staying curious and staying focused, doing focused breathing really helps me actually with my priorities and approach them better. Secondly, one needs to know who to trust, whom with what kind of conversation. That's very important as well in the corporate world. Uh, what to disclose, how and when. Let me put it that way. There's an information. How do you share that information? With whom do you share that information? And at what time do you share that information? Third is listening well. I would say I was not a very effective listener earlier in my life, but this is one thing I uh, feel that it really helped me, because when I listen well, I exactly know where to dive in. So, uh, and in decision making, there is a catch. I mean, even if you can't wait for your decision to be 100% correct. At times, the decision may be 70% correct. At times, the decision may be 90% correct. Um, you know, the thing is going ahead and the, being having the ability and the grit to take it, and also have a responsibility, accountability for the consequences if something goes wrong. How to have that plan along with you. So I feel that these kind of with these kind of challenges and with this approach that I had, that is constantly evolving, right? Whenever there's a crisis, rather than panicking, just sitting and breathing for like 30 seconds or 1 minute, it helps a lot. It essentially improves your concentration and focus towards the problem, and to drive a solution rather than add to the problem. Because when you're growing in your life, you can't add to people's stress. You can't create panic. You have to uh, you know ensure that the environment stays uh, really peaceful, calm, nice. At least from your perspective, and the way you handle it as a leader uh, should be with poise and panache, and which I feel also comes with a lot of concentration towards oneself, and being solution driven.
Right, sis. So now talking about the future, everyone do plans for their future. So, what further plans are you having for yourself in the upcoming years? If you can share a bit of those plans with us as well.
Yeah, well, one of my goals has been providing delightful, sustainable, and profitable experiences to my customers, stakeholders, employees, in moments that matter to them, by building high trust and high performance teams. I mean, that is something which really gives me a high, and which is a consistent task. I'm also in the process of being a PCC level coach from International Coaching Federation, which is globally the gold standard in coaching, and that will help me contribute deeper to people who need life coaching, or senior executive leaders or C-suite people who may be looking at a coach. Um, and what I've also realized during the time I'm studying this, that coaching, mentoring, counseling, training are all absolutely different from each other. So that's more or less about it, and contributing more to people's lives, creating a positive impact.
Right, sir. And I wish you all the success for all these plans of yours. Okay, so now comes the question which I was literally, waiting to put forward to you, and that is, what are your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award? Like, how did you actually celebrated the news when you got the information about the winning?
It is a good feeling always. I thank the jury management for selecting my profile. Why I took a pause, because I don't usually do those champagne openings things, and I'm very quiet on my birthdays as well. So I like spending time with my family, and I like also not being getting complacent with anything. So this is obviously, this validates my endeavors, and of course it feels good. And as I said, I really thank the management and jury of IF to consider me. I hope I'm able to consistently move forward and do better for our environment, our society, and contribute more in our my core subject of marketing and advertising as well.
Right, sir, and you're truly an achiever, I must say. So now, moving ahead and talking about, like, as we have discussed a lot about your journey so far and also the plans that you're having in the future, if you can also let us know about the social contribution of yours, please.
Usually, yeah, great question. I prefer, not talking about it much. However, in a nutshell, I'm always in pursuit of strengthening more vulnerable parts of certain communities, and not so privileged sections or ones, privileged ones who are, and also taking actions, however small it may be. So I don't look at big or small. I just go ahead and take something as an action, which can have a positive impact. Sustainability is a big subject that I feel we need more attention on. I keep revisiting our Prime Minister Modi's, 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Um, that is very important aspect because you know carbon emission and the way every industry is also, there are certain aspects which is called greenwashing. People are saying that they are doing sustainability, they are taking out a maybe a sustainability report, but at the end of the day, it's when we look at it closely, it could be greenwashing. Greenwashing would ideally be that you're just saying it for the sake of it. um, if you just go on and Google, I was doing this research that how many liters of water is required to prepare one cotton shirt, just one. You will be surprised. So I won't disclose that because I really want people to just go and at least Google that and start reading about it. Um, what we have also started that, as an example, on my daughter's birthday, we utilized certain saris my wife has, which she was not wearing for quite some time. We utilized them to make, we got hold of somebody who really does good tailoring and got certain dresses made for her. And actually, those look mind blowing. And we got somebody who tailors really well. So this is just I'm just stating a very small aspect of how we can start things from our home. Right? If you talk about electric vehicles, I mean, it won't be right to say that electric vehicles are doing absolutely okay in terms of a sustainability aspect. If you read about the batteries that they use, and probably the use of some metals in that. I'm not disclosing anything right now. I would really want people who are not aware of it, go and read about it, and you'll see that uh, nothing is 100%, um, as an initiative. There are deeper aspects of it. The use of paper, the use of napkins, is such a big industry uh, in the world globally that you can't even imagine. And certain rainforests are being cut down for that consistently. So why I'm talking about this, because I feel that rather than saying that what I do, it is at least important to start the conversation, because I have started taking small steps to contribute, and I really hope I'm able to do something uh, bigger and bigger than that. Uh, but it can't happen also maybe alone. It needs a community. It needs support. It needs genuine concern. It needs compassion. It needs uh, a lot of stakeholders in this to create, not say just save water. I mean, not, I mean, it is not about creating an advertisement about save water. I mean, there are people who are really doing a lot in this field, uh, because I closely observe uh, this segment of sustainability. But it is important to also understand that how to follow through it, right? How to have that mindset, because it all starts with the mindset. Today, if I say that okay, I did no charity to some place, and I've done my job, I've contributed to the underprivileged. That may be an idea someone has. That is not my idea. My idea is being with the community, understanding their problems, understanding what they go through, understanding their feelings, and then seeing how can I contribute in what way the best. So I've been taking steps towards it, creating. I'm hoping I'm able to create, small or big impact. But starting at the grassroots level is very important. One of the, you asked me about my plans. One of the plans that I also have is doing travel in certain grassroots areas and understand certain aspects of specific problems of people, um, of the underprivileged. So, coming back to that, yes, I mean, I'm Prime Minister's sustainable development goals are one of the focus areas that I have. That even if we pick like two goals or even one goal for that matter, and see that how can we build a community around that, small or big does not matter to start with, but starting somewhere is important, and following through that is important. So that's where my one of my key focus areas also is.
Right, sir. So now, before concluding our lovely session, can you please give us your favorite life lesson quote?
Life, there are many life lessons. I mean, that's a great question. One of my favorite quotes is, I think it's somebody said that the only thing that you can control is how you react to things out of your control. So if you look at it, it's got so much of depth in it, right? The only thing that you can control is how you react to things which is out of your control. So that's one of the things that stuck on to me, and that's a everyday story. That how this quote also helps me in thinking and channelizing my energies, which in turn helps me to craft wonderfully, uh, inspiring stories for myself and hopefully others. Another take is which I posted, I think today or yesterday on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, that the gap between your current life and the life you want boils down to two words. One is concentration, and one is self-awareness. Concentration, I keep on talking about, and both are inside jobs. I mean, nobody will come and tell you that, if somebody tells you you concentrate, or you have to be self-aware, but that person is not telling you how to do that, right? So that how to is something you got to figure it out from your inside. That's why an inside out approach I spoke about. And finally, if you have the power to make somebody happy, just go ahead and do it. I mean, it's a very non-pushy thing. It's a simple thing. It's a simple act. So if you are able to make somebody happy, if you are aware about it, just do it. Don't think too much about it. So that's more or less about it. And I would also like to state that if somebody is a avid reader, wants to read certain books, there are two books that has impacted my life. I'm really inspired by those two books. One is Imagine It Forward by Beth Comstock, and one is Limitless by Jim Quick. So those are the two books which have a deep influence in me. And yes, I thank you so much for taking your time, and thank you to the audience for listening in.
Right, sir. Thank you so very much for joining with us today. And it was lovely talking to you. And of course, I wish you all the success for all your future endeavors. And may you continue to inspire us the way you are doing. Thank you so very much for joining.
Thank you, Varsha. You've been very kind.